You've landed in the Dream Gardener podcast. Through storytelling from the amazing guests I interview, you will learn how to gather, plant, nurture, and reap all the benefits of pursuing your dreams. I hope you enjoy the show. Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of The Dream Gardener, and I'm Barbara Donis, your host today. I have another really amazing woman who has done a lot in her life, and she's at another really cool transition that she's bringing about, and I'm going to have her share it with you. Her name is Angela Hanley, and I'm going to bring her right up here. Okay, Angie. Hi there. Thanks for joining.
Hey, Barb. Thanks. Yeah.
Well, you're one of those women that, especially after I saw some pictures of you, I don't know what country, was it Africa that you were in? You were doing...
It's possible.
Okay, you were doing different, I think, mission work, whatever. It just, very exciting. What an opportunity. So you were someone that I wanted to incorporate with living out your dreams. And if you can, what I like to do is have people start out just like giving a little background of what their life's been like and how they've reached this point. So can you just kind of walk us through that?
Sure. I grew up in Illinois, and that's how I know Barb, because in high school I was friends and band buddies with her now husband, Dan. And
it's so funny hearing you call him Dan, because every now and then, yeah, Dan slips out from my mouth, and he's like, "How come you're calling me Dan?"
Yeah. So, and let's see, I went to college in New Orleans at Tulane University, and while I was there doing the pre-med program, actually afterwards I got turned on to chiropractic, and I ended up going to chiropractic school. And so the work that you saw me doing was medical service work in Kenya. I have traveled side by side with the medical team, providing chiropractic care alongside other, medical necessities. And so that's been really fascinating to do. I've been to Kenya 3 times to offer those services. And I've also traveled to Guatemala, and I've been there 3 times as well. And I specifically go now to provide chiropractic care to the staff, students, and teachers at a school in the mountains of Guatemala near Tecpan. So that's been really rewarding. And now I'm on the board of directors, actually, of that particular nonprofit. So that's been pretty exciting. Yeah. And that was always a real big wish of mine, was to be able to travel and do service work with chiropractic, and especially provide spinal care to children, because it has such an impact on their health moving forward. So that was really exciting for me to be able to do. And so about 2.5 years ago, I actually went through a divorce where I left my, obviously my ex, but also my partner practice of 18 years. And I've established a new office, and I'm also, along with that, though, my current dream is to create a wellness platform. I might call it a wholeness coaching platform that would be offered online, and it could be something that I could, help people walk through aspects of their own health and wellness, and maximizing their own potential, naturally. And one of the aspects of doing that is that I've created Gateway Wellness Retreats, and the first one's going to be happening 4 weeks from now, actually, in Yellowstone.
Wow, 4 weeks from now.
Yeah, so it's July 6th through 9th, and it's coming up pretty fast. 4 days, and it's a horseback tour. You show up, there's an outfitter, they've got horses and pack mules and, and stuff,
Wow.
and you head off, no Wi-Fi signals, just the quiet, you barely see any people. So I did this trip last year as a participant in September, And after talking with the outfitter, we ended up um, arranging earlier this year that I would lead one of their trips as a wellness retreat. So
Oh,
it's
how
happening.
awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, and that's really quick to have like that manifest since September of last year. That's what, October,
Yeah,
November,
well,
December.
we're in a, that's all of it's directly related to just a rapidly changing world. The reason that that trip came up was because of COVID, because the person who arranged it normally would have done an international trip that involved some kind of touring on horseback. But because international travel was out of the question at the time, she went looking within the United States and found this outfitter, and the weather happened to be right to be able to do one more trip than what they normally do. And so this has kind of been a theme for me through the last year and a half, even though it's been difficult. And I acknowledge it's been difficult for a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people, and it's
Mm-hmm.
it's been challenging for my business as well. But there have been amazing opportunities that open up too. And
Mm-hmm.
I think to me, it seems metaphorical for life that when there's disruption, a lot of times you can find opportunity or attraction right there in the disruption. So
Mm-hmm. Yep, you
yeah,
just have to have your
when the world seemed like it was flying apart, I really looked for what are the opportunities here that I can use to enhance my own skills as as a practitioner.
yeah, and I guess it just depends on like what you're focusing on. If you're focusing on that disruption, like the negativity, you won't
Yeah.
see those opportunities. So, wow, that's awesome, and it's not a coincidence that that opportunity, opened up.
Oh, yeah, completely. I don't really believe in coincidences unless you want to call them divine
Yeah,
coincidences.
and it's
I think people find a lot of times what they're looking for and what they need, as long as they're open to it. Um, Playing the victim doesn't get you anywhere,
right.
even though that's been a strong theme of this last year, for me included.
Mm-hmm.
It's really easy to look at everything that's happened and be down. And but I've, like I said, I've chose to look at, okay, what can I do? What can I do that would be building my own repertoire for what I can offer people, even if I'm face to face less right now with people than I was.
Mm-hmm.
For example, one of my goals, let's see, about a year and a half ago, was to be able to I offer a weight loss program as part of my clinic services. And my goal was in 3 years, so that would have been 2023. By 2023, I want to offer online services that would expand my clientele easily to the entire state of Wisconsin, if not beyond.
Oh.
And uh, and allow me to work from wherever I want to, which is a
Mm-hmm.
dream of mine. I want to be able to be sort of mobile, especially once my children graduate from high school. So honestly, the pandemic sped that up. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to do it. The company that I licensed through for the weight loss service, they did it. So within 3 weeks, they had us online,
Wow.
on a completely HIPAA compliant, telehealth platform with forms and, services. And so I was like, well, that's an upside.
Yeah. And it almost
So
sounds like, I was gonna say,
sorry.
it almost sounds like having like you've got a dream, but not being attached to how it's going to, when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, because who could have predicted it?
Right. Now, I am not going to pretend that everything has been amazing.
Right.
It's hard not to see family. It's hard not to have a normal social life, especially for my teenagers. It's probably a lot easier for me than for them. I mean, our families, experienced major disruptions from it. So I don't
Right.
want to, pretend as if, oh,
Right.
everything just went amazing. But being open to what could be good, I think has made it, you know, um, a more meaningful time period and an eye-opening one as
Mm-hmm.
well. Um, and it does get, you talk about not being attached to outcome. It's really hard to accept when things go slower than what you want. It's really easy to be like, oh, that went so much faster than what I wanted. Wow, look at that manifestation. Oh my gosh. And, when things don't go according to the way you thought and they're going slower, that's hard. That's when you have to take whatever faith means to you, um, and apply it, and acceptance. And those are those are the aspects of self-help these days that aren't focused on a lot. Uh, it's all about manifesting your dreams, and literally, what I mean, your podcast is brilliant. I love it. Um, but it's also, there's that other side of it, of being willing sometimes to wait.
Oh, right. Or
Um,
even not be attached to like thinking like this is whatever, this item is what I want to, my dream. And yet there might be a different path in how to get there, and something else might
mhm.
show up, or your dream might look different. Yeah, what I was wanting to get people in touch with is just the dreaming aspect again of, and that's another really good thing I think that came out of last year was people had enough of a disruption with their normal routine, their struggle, the hamster wheel, just plodding along, being so busy, and now they had a time to step back. And granted, some things they didn't like, but they also maybe had a chance to say, you know what, I like spending time with my kids more
Right.
than I thought. Being able to,
Yeah.
or just not having that long commute, or whatever reflection, however they use that time. And it might have been a time that they started just having enough time to think of how life could be different. And that's where I thought the dreams would come into play. Paying attention to those little I don't know what the word is I want to use, but or expression, but the little, you get these little ideas in your head, and they usually just let them float right out of your head because you're too busy.
Oh, yeah. I think of them as nudges.
Okay, nudges,
It's
or
like you get
sometimes
a
you need a.
little, right, like some things just flow through and other things kind of stick. And uh, it's like, oh, especially if something comes, multiple times, it's like, oh, I might want to pay attention to that.
Right. So
Yeah.
that I'm hoping people are getting some more of that experience. Yeah, that experience from last year.
Hmm.
Well, then, so during okay, so you originally had like you thought this plan was going to take longer to have your platform established. Um,
Just the weight loss portion of my clinic services. So, but you're right though, in that, because that happened sooner than I thought it could, it does open the window for me a little bit wider to go, oh, maybe the entire wholeness coaching could happen also sooner than I thought, because the entire world went to online platforms and digital in a much more meaningful way. And so I think the opportunity for services like this, to where people can support each other and feel completely valid doing it online, I think that timetable accelerated.
Almost
Yeah.
definitely.
So I'm hoping this. So I'm rather than say it might be 5 years off, instead that might be like more like a year off for me. So,
Wow.
and be realistic.
Okay, and that can be exciting, obviously, in a
Hmm.
positive way. But have you found like obstacles? in
Yeah.
okay. So I want this aspect of following your dreams also to be very just transparent. Like, just because you follow your dream doesn't mean like it's all a bed of roses. Can you
Oh
share?
gosh, yeah. Well, they mostly come from, from inside. So they're really easy to identify. Uh, of course, it's all kinds of things like, can I do it? Would people would people bother to pay for something like that? I get the answers in yes, because I see other people doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I love engaging with people in ways where they make connections to their own um, power, whether it's the power to heal, whether it's a creative nudge, whether just any time that somebody can find that connection, identify it, and put that piece together in a meaningful way for themselves. That's essentially what chiropractic is. It just works along the nervous system,
Mm-hmm.
that clears the brain body connection so that people can experience their physiology in a more meaningful way, which leads ultimately to a better health picture. And so I'm just looking at how else can that happen. I'm currently looking at getting certified in breath work. That's something that's very easy to get on. Sorry, I have a phone ringing.
I like your ring. You just reminded me. I thought I had mine off. Now I got mine off too.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. We are not
um,
doing editing. I don't edit because
that's okay. That's
this is
okay.
life.
It's real life. Yeah. I
Exactly.
do a lot of my work from home. And yeah, so cats and dogs and kids, dust and
Yeah, it's all
it's a part of my life. Yeah. Um, let's see. So you were asking about, oh yeah, I have like an unending list of things that I could list as blocks to manifesting the dreams that I want. But
okay.
ultimately,
Shh.
oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Do you have to get that?
No, and I'm trying to hit the ignore button. It's like not
It's
working. I,
a fun. I love the tune.
I'm just gonna like put it over there and it'll go to voicemail and it'll be good. I honestly think it's a I think it's a telemarketing
Telemark.
call
Oh, jeez.
on my business. It's on my business line. Uh,
Okay.
sorry about that.
No problem.
Real life. Um,
So, but with the
yeah. So
obstacles, like share some of the obstacles like you did with you started doing, and then like how do you? I mean, because these are normal obstacles, but I want people to hear how normal they are, like what I can be
oh,
experiencing, you also have,
of
and
course.
how have you gotten past them?
Okay. So much of it has to do with self doubt and whether this is something that I could actually pull off. Um, a little bit of investigation, looking into what do other people do, look to the experts. And I'm not, um, I can look up easily people who are doing work like this, see that it's possible, and also see how my approach could stand out and be different, and how I could attract people who resonate with me and who resonate with my style. And so in my communication style, and of course the type of information that I would put forth for people. So uh, that's number one, is identify that obstacle that's in me and find a way through that.
Mm-hmm.
Am I capable? And then there's of course the technical stuff, which is I'm going to need to figure out recording. I'm going to need to figure out website type stuff. I'm going to need to figure out uh, online platforms that host um, coursework, basically, that hosts a membership, that takes in money, all that kind of stuff. But they're out there,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's just a matter of being willing to look at an obstacle and see it not as an obstacle, but a it's just it's something on the checklist of okay, how do I investigate that?
Mm-hmm.
How do I look into that? I know other people are doing it, therefore I know I can do it. If somebody else can do something, I typically can do it too. That's true for most of us. So um, just willing to move forward and hold that dream in front of me because I feel like I'm worth having that come true for all the reasons that I want it to. Because I want to connect with people and I want it to sustain me financially. And I want to be able to have travel involved in my life in a professional way. And that's where the retreats come in. My first retreat was supposed to be in Guatemala in November. And of course, the pandemic shut that down. So, but I'd like to see that happen in the future. And I'd love to see retreats happen in places like Bali and
Mm.
and collaborate with other people who bring amazing offerings to you know to content as well. So
So collaborating with other like-minded people,
hmm
putting
yeah,
this.
and turning to people, like one of the things that I don't do well, I don't market well. I don't enjoy it. And so the more that I can find somebody else to help me to create, for example, tomorrow, I'm paying to go on a hike with a photographer who is really great at helping people create a brand.
Oh,
So we're working to create like a physical brand and or like a photographic, I guess is what I'm trying to say, brand. And I know that she clicks with me because she knows me well. And um, of course, a lot of what I do is personally is physical. Like, I love to hike. I love to be outdoors, and I'd love to see some of my retreats focus on things like that. And so, what a perfect opportunity, right? To hire somebody, be willing to look at the expert, look to an expert
mm-hmm.
to help me carry forward my dream. If I think I have to do it all myself,
Oh,
it won't happen. Like, no way. I can't be an expert at everything. I can barely be an expert at my stuff. So,
so it sound was that like something that took a little while for you to learn, and to accept that, because I just some people it sounds like it's very easy for you to realize that that's not something I like to do. It's not what I am good at, and it sounds like it was easy for you to seek someone else's help. Has that always been the case, or have you
I
been
wouldn't
one?
say so. I think in the 18 years that I was in a chiropractic practice that was a busy family practice, I had the attitude that I should be able to do everything and I should be able to figure it all out. And there were a lot of years of really working up to burnout because of exactly that, of thinking that it all rested on owner's shoulders. And
Mm-hmm.
so uh, when I started identifying that I could delegate some things, that it actually made more sense to hire somebody, say for bookkeeping, than to retain the control and do it all myself, it was like 1,000 times more efficient uh, to free up my time for what I'm an expert at
Mm-hmm.
and let somebody else handle. Even though I could do it, I got good at it, but it didn't mean that that was the best use of my time. And so identifying those kind of things. Also, like letting somebody else, one of the retreats that I would love to do would be essentially be for women who are looking to grow their own businesses. It's like step number one, hire out getting your house cleaned. Somebody else needs that work,
Yeah.
and what in the world are you doing, cleaning your own house when you've got a world to change?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
it's like, what are we doing? Hire a cook. You don't have to be the cook. If that's not your passion and that's not how you love to spend your time, get the groceries delivered. That took me forever to finally like let go of that control Oh, but I want to be able to pick my own produce or whatever. It's like, oh my gosh, okay. So what if the produce isn't absolutely perfect? So what? Like, you freed up so much time and energy. Plus, if you let somebody shop for you, they're gonna get to know your order over time. And I finally placed my second order. It only took me like a year to do the second one. It was, but I know it's so stupid, but
No.
it was brilliant. It was like, okay, and now I can focus on the other 10 things on my list that I really can't farm out.
Mm-hmm.
I can't delegate those. Those rest with me. But these things that I can delegate out, I need to. And I
Mm-hmm.
think women in particular feel like they have to be able to do everything. And that if they don't do it all, change the world, manage monetary funds, and do their own vacuuming, that somehow they're less of a woman, or of less of a powerful being. It's like, no, you
Yeah.
know, pay
Yeah.
somebody to walk your fantastic dog. It's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Or even have the kids do it, that, at
of
whatever
course,
age,
yeah.
use, it's not like you always need to, because some people might not be in a position to be able to afford, that's one of the reasons why they
No,
put off.
absolutely. Yeah. And so it is, it's to scale, of course, of what you can afford. Yeah, I'm not at a place where I can bring somebody in to cook for me yet, but it's on the list of things that if I were to grow enough and that my business were to take that kind of time, and that I could
Mm-hmm.
benefit from freeing up that time and energy, there's a time where that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to be willing to do it first. A lot of people just aren't willing to even open up that space for themselves.
Open up the space for themselves of.
Like, mentally, of just saying, "Oh, I don't have to be the one to do
Okay.
that."
Okay.
Whether it's asking a family member, a friend, even simple things. Some asking for help is just one of our major blocks.
And it's so funny because I'm sure, well, I'm not going to assume, but I know I don't like asking for help, but I've gotten myself to be able to, circumstances in life make it like where you have to ask for help, But I know that I love being able to help other people.
Hmm.
And so I have to remind myself that if I love helping people, then when I'm needing help, I should remember how much I enjoyed helping somebody else. So I'm giving,
Hmm.
if I don't ask for help, I'm depriving somebody else of being able to have that joy of helping me and making a difference.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And there are wonderful studies that show that helping behavior helps the helper even more emotionally, mentally, brain chemistry, all of that helps the helper even more than it helps the helpee. Uh, so
Interesting.
that is something to keep in mind. And then if you take that to the level of, say, being a monetary thing as well, somebody else will benefit when you pay them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sometimes we think it's a failure that, oh, I don't do my own blah blah blah, and it's like, yeah, but somebody else needs that job. So
Mm-hmm.
why deprive the teenager down the street of your lawn, if you
Mm-hmm.
could pay a little bit to get that done? That kid's probably putting in that time to, who knows what, buy a car
Yep.
so that they can drive themselves to college.
Right.
It's like, why, sometimes we think we have to do everything ourselves, but then you're right, we deprive others of the benefit of stepping up.
Yeah, so it sounds like also like trying to, like, in order to achieve, tying this back in with dreams, in order to achieve our dreams, something that we might all need to do is to become better budgeters of our time.
Hmm.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
not
It's
doing it all.
right. Well, and I mean, time is one of the most precious things we could possibly have. I mean, there's, you can make more money. You know,
Right.
if you're lucky and if you're good at it, you can make more friends. You can, there's so much that we're capable of creating. You know, we're not able to create more time, um, unless there's, you know, a group of beings out there that I don't know about. But uh, uh, and if they're out there, I want their help.
Yeah.
let's let's make parallel universes, please.
Yeah.
Um, because that would be so great. Um, so it is a matter of, you know, how do I use this? How do I use this most precious commodity in a way that serves my dreams the best? Because typically, when you're serving your highest good, is what manifests in your dreams, and that is what spills over into other people, whether it's
Hmm.
because you're actively helping people or because you're leading by example.
Or just
That
because you're a happier person too. You know that
100%,
trip.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
going to be more productive in your family, in your community. You know, when you're the most vibrant version of you can be.
It sounds so simple.
Isn't it though?
Yeah, it really is. We just make it so complicated
We'll just
for.
end the whole podcast there
Yeah.
because we just solved like the mystery of the universe. It's
I
so simple.
Yeah. It's like sometimes medical terminology, which you're obviously familiar with. It's like it's a simple word, English word, but then this big complicated word, different language has to be made up to make it sound, I don't know, just so it sounds,
Right.
just more
It just
confusing. And
got decoded.
yeah.
Yeah. It just got.
Okay, so if we can, if there's another question I want to ask you, just as far as if because I'm hoping that there's going to be people that are listening to this podcast, or in this fact matter watching this podcast, because it's a visual too, that are just getting in touch with their dreams, like they've forgotten what it even feels like to dream, or even to recognize a dream. Like you talked about that little nudge, or that nudge, was it, or poke, did you say?
I think it was a nudge.
Okay,
A
a
poke
little.
doesn't sound very pleasant.
No, well, it might be a nudge, might become a poke if you don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, if you don't listen to the nudges, I think the universe will come along and flatten you. Because, you know, the way I look at the world is that we're we're here to bring forth some kind of essence that we're born with. You know, we're here to bring that forth and just share it with others. And we get so wrapped up in knots that we fail to see it anymore. We give it away at some point, and then,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we get nudges that kind of like, okay, you got to untie that and let it
Right.
go. And if you don't follow the nudges, I think you'll, you know,
Well,
the universe will come along and
if you're lucky,
yeah,
yeah,
knock you flat.
and then you'll have time to think about it. Sometimes
And you
that
can,
never happens, or the
right,
time you're knocked flat is, when you keel over. And I want to
right,
have people get in touch with this way before then. So
right, yeah.
what kind of like advice or tips would you give somebody to just, to start getting reconnected with their dreams?
I know a lot of people end up finding themselves at a turning point. Unfortunately, a lot of times it's through suffering, where they feel miserable or they feel disconnected. Sometimes they've gone through um, like a medical issue that set them back, and they have to come back from it. I think all of us have a different wake up call, and whatever that is, I just think it takes the willingness to get quiet and really let, your soul's purpose bubble up again. But you have to be able to, I shouldn't say you, I know I had to be willing to step back and breathe a bit. I headed into a divorce and a new practice with a new service, the weight loss service, like all bam, 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 bam. And it went well. It was all timely. It was relatively peaceful, and it all needed to happen. But somewhere in there, a few months after it, and I think COVID was, for me, was one of the big pauses. It's like,
Mhm.
hey, you get to slow down along with the rest of the world, uh, um, and to allow then to come up of like, okay, what's next? Where do I connect with people? Where do I bring forth where I'm the most powerful, influential part of me? And being on the road with people, or connecting with new people, oftentimes involving travel of some sort or another, um, it's just where I get, I don't know what, it's like I get in tune with the universe a little bit better.
Mhm.
And so when I allowed those things, like, okay, what do I really, really love? Um, helping people, helping them connect. I love doing seminars and retreats myself. So, wow, wouldn't it be fun to plan those and do it? Like, oh, that would be fun. Well, why can't it be fun to make money? And so being willing to be quiet and think about what you're good at, and then how can you connect to the joy of that? And sometimes I think we miss the idea that joy could bring us could bring us in touch with our, or bring us closer to the work that we're meant to do. Um, yeah, and that we could actually make money doing things that we absolutely love.
You just, gosh, I wish we would have hit this earlier on in the. We might need a part two, because that's like the first time that someone's brought up the idea of following your dream, and how much joy and how much it aligns with yourself, and yet you're still able to make money out of it, which isn't a
Yeah.
bad thing. It's like, well, of course, that's probably how it's supposed to
Well,
work.
yeah, I mean, it's just money's just energy. It's just another form of energy. The
Mm-hmm.
idea that it's limited or that it's inaccessible is, I firmly believe that that's a myth. It's something that we buy into.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but thoughts become things. I
Yeah.
also believe that. So, when we think that we're cut off from the flow of energy that's called money, uh, typically we are. And so I know that I have taken that on as one of the pieces of personal work that um, I've had to grow through. I've had to work around things like deserving money. I've had to work around, what's the quality of my service, things like that. Money issues are massively huge, and they tend to be even bigger for women. And so it's definitely one of the places that I've had to, yeah, do some of my own personal work. A couple of books that have been really helpful for me. One is called A Happy Pocket Full of Money. Um,
That sounds like a cute title.
and it is. It's a really cute title, and it says kind of the same thing like over and over and over. The writing isn't necessarily great, but the thing is, it's almost like reading a mantra, and it's the same idea in a number of different ways. That you're not accessing money is really just like you putting a veil between you and reality, and the reality is it's all there, and there's enough for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and you just have to find your way through that veil to allow it to happen. So, I'm still working on it. The veil is thick with this one.
Yeah. Well,
but and I say that it playfully, um but the change that has been brought around in me in becoming a partner owner to becoming a sole owner, that is part of that path that
Mm-hmm.
it has manifested for me. And I am doing it on my own, and I am creating the money that I need to sustain my life and to really grow it. So uh, and then the other book that I just recently started reading, which I love because it has really practical steps to um, getting sort of out of your own way in
Okay.
making money, particularly as a woman, is called Get Rich Lucky Bitch.
They come up with such clever titles.
That's great. Yeah. What one is that one? Lurking. It's not. I can't find it. Right. It's. I forget the name of the author, but the
Okay.
title's memorable, right?
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
um,
uh,
so I like that one too because it's similar to the other one, but it's more practical in its application.
mm-hmm.
Written by a woman who had to go at her dream of bringing forth a meaningful business and a meaningful service. She had to run at it a number of times, and that's another aspect of things is just to not give up.
Yeah, and even just with that term bitch, there's,
Yeah,
that's not usually used in uh, for
in a
women.
positive way.
Right, right. Or as soon as
Yeah.
women portray someone that is, I mean, there's different spectrums of the word, but, just
Hmm.
anybody that's in control, a powerful woman, a woman following what her dreams are, has a mission, she can be just seen as the big B.
Oh yeah, totally, totally. And why not flip that on its head and say, you know what? Versus pointing at somebody and going, "Oh, they're successful. They must be a big B."
Yeah,
Instead, it's like, "Okay, I want that." Well, like kudos to her.
right.
Let's lift each other up.
Yeah.
Let's lift each other up and celebrate it when somebody achieves their dreams and makes enough money to hire the cleaning woman and makes enough money to buy the great car and have a driver. Why not? I mean, women need to be more in control of the world's money, in more control of large decisions on the face of the planet. It's a good thing. So let's
I'm
lift each other up.
I'm bursting out with laughing about an idea, and I forgot how it's related, but it doesn't matter. Like we could create this new club. Instead of the good old boys club, it could be the bitch club, and it's for
Yeah, yeah,
power. Give it,
totally. It's
yeah,
like yeah. Hey, there's the Lucky Bitch Club. It's like, and that it's not. I mean, if we have strokes of luck, that's wonderful.
yeah.
Usually, when women make money, it's because they had a stroke of genius.
Mm-hmm.
So, even the term lucky is a misnomer because it's not a mistake that that person got where they got.
Right.
They didn't give up on a dream. They worked like hell. They curated that dream and stuck with it when it wasn't easy.
Mm-hmm.
So even the term for the book, Get Rich Lucky Bitch, it's said tongue in cheek, and she says so in the book. Um, and so, anyway, I highly recommend it for anybody who's got a dream that needs to be attached to having an income.
Okay, I love book recommendations, so thank you. That's another thing I think more people need to do, um, just in their life, is just read more. There's
Mm,
so many
yeah,
amazing things that you can learn, and that'll help support you on your road to creating the life that you really want. So thank you.
yeah. Yeah, those are my next. You were asking about what the dreams are. So getting the wellness retreats underway as part of a wholeness coaching program, but I've also got a couple book ideas. So I've put out one.
Really,
I've put out one blog so far publicly, and I'm working on my
congratulations.
second one. So
How,
that's the creative side of things that I've always loved writing, and so I'm hoping, working on bringing that forward.
awesome. We will have to do a part two some point. Especially
Sounds
like
good.
after your retreat. That's so exciting. I'm really happy for you, Angie. That's gonna
Thank
be
you.
what an experience for people, especially after last year.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be such a relief to get out and literally just breathe.
And just reconnect with people, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was wonderful.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, Barb.
You're welcome.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow, what so many good ideas, and what a fascinating journey. And especially, I'm just amazed at people in what they've been able to create out of last year, 2020. Um, a lot of times it's just perspective. I don't want to say just perspective, making it sound like it's so simple. And yet, in a way, maybe it is that simple. But what an amazing process that Angie went through in being able to make a real huge disruption in our lives and make something out of it for herself that just takes her life up to the next level, where she can serve people, more people, through her dreams. So I love endings like that. So I hope you got some really good ideas from Angie, and I look forward to the next episode of The Dream Gardener. Thank you.